Okay, here we go. We are going to do our second assembly. This will be assembling our ends onto our first assembly. So to begin, we're going to click on New Assembly, and that opens up our blank workspace. We go to Place, and we want to find in the pop-up box Assembly 1, Open, and just click anywhere in the center of the screen, and that will place it. Right-click, OK. And then we'll go ahead and place our end. And I'm going to click that twice, and then right-click OK. And that gives us both of the ends that we need to place onto the end of our pegboard. Now, our pegboard is still movable, and if you remember what we did before with that, I want to ground this piece so it doesn't move around. So if you right-click on Assembly 1 and come down to Grounded, that will lock this in place. Our ends still move, and we can kind of position them wherever we want to put them. So I'm just going to slide this one out to the side. We're going to work with this end, this groove, this end, and this end of our pegboard to begin with. So we're using constraints again, and we're using the mate and the flush this time. We're going to have two mate surfaces with our pegboard. So to begin, I want to mate the back of this dado, this area right here, to the end of the board, just like you were sliding that in place. So we come up to Constrain, and that gives us our pop-up. You can see the cone, and when I click that, it highlights that surface that's back of the groove, and I want to mate it with the end of the pegboard. And you'll hear that pop in place if I apply and cancel, but it still moves around, and that is an issue. So to lock that in place, we're going to take this little triangle piece right here, which is the bottom of the groove, and we're going to mate it to the bottom of the pegboard. So you come back to Constrain, and I want to select that surface right there. Now, our issue is we can't see the bottom of our pegboard piece. So if you come over to your view cube and grab and rotate, might have to do it a time or two, until you can see the bottom, and then click. And then if you apply and cancel, it moves back and forth, but it will not move up and down now. So if I click on my house to bring me back home, I am going to zoom in. Now to lock this in place, we're going to use a flush constraint. So back to Constrain, and now instead of mate, we want to flush. And what we want to do is even up this edge with this edge. So when you press here, now it wants to know what you want to make flush with that. We want to flush this side of our end piece. And when you pop that, it will pop into place, and now that's locked down. And so now we do the same thing here, but we can't see the end of this, and we can't see the bottom. So we're going to have to do the rotate again in order to lock some of this in place. So we start it the same way. Constrain, back of the groove, and then I'm going to rotate until I can see the end, and I'm going to apply. And then I want the bottom of the shelf, And I'm going to rotate again until I can see the bottom. Until I can see the bottom. And apply. And then I'm going to change the flush edge of the end to edge of the pegboard. Apply and cancel. And that locks everything in place. So that is our first major assembly. We're going to come back and add the triangle peg hole and add the triangle peg in place. And then we have our mallet to do. But for this part, we are done, and we'll move forward in the next video.